Hey guys, here's another video. Today we'll be talking about 10 NFL players that could possibly become the greatest of all time. So here are the rules. The rules are you have to be at your prime or at least near it. You can't be way after or way before it. But as long as you're in the area of your prime, then I can include you in my list. You also can't be really old like Aaron Rodgers. He's not going to be in the video today because he's 38, way past his prime, and he could win a Super Bowl or two, maybe at most. But he's definitely not going to be the same competition as Tom Brady. So now I said that, let's get into the video. So right now, coming in number 10 is Russell Wilson. So Russell Wilson is 32. I said a rule about so you can't be way past your prime. And yes, I do believe Russell Wilson's not in his prime anymore. But he's definitely not way after it, definitely not way before it. But he's not way after it. He's 32. I'd say his prime's 28, it's 26, 27, 28, around that. But it's not a long time. It's 3 years after it, so I'll include him on the list. He's been doing great. Every year the NFL does top 100 players of the year. Have not done one of those yet this year. Hopefully they release it soon. But last year he was number 2, second to Lamar Jackson. And many people thought he should have been number 1, not number 2. He did lose in the divisional round, though. Also Lamar Jackson, actually. So, yeah, all right. That's Russell Wilson, and he's coming in to number 10 spot. His team has not been amazing so far. Recently, they've been not doing as well. They lost in a wild card against the Rams. Yeah, so, I don't know why, but they just kind of didn't do well in the wild card. They were doing well before that, but then the Rams actually beat them, made it to the divisional round, which is actually pretty good, and most people kind of forget about the Rams. But the thing is, Russell Wilson is saying how he wants to leave the Seahawks, and the Seahawks are kind of falling apart. So if he left and joined a better team, then maybe he would even be higher on this list next season. All right, coming in next, number 9 is T.J. Watt. There's mostly going to be offensive players in this video. T.J. Watt's an exception because he's just done amazing. He has an older brother called J.J. Watt, but he's way past his prime at this point and is playing for the Cardinals, who are an amazing team. J.J. Watt, though, is playing on the Steelers, who are AFC Championship contender teams. They had an amazing record. They were all wins, no losses for a little bit there. They were 12-5, which is still great. They played in the wild card, so they made it to the playoffs. They did lose, though. But T.J. Watt was second Defensive Player of the Year, second to Aaron Donald. And it wasn't like everyone voted for Aaron Donald. J.J. Watt was competition for him. And J.J. Watt has so many sacks and just played so amazing this year. He's in his prime. And he's kind of the middle of it. It's not ending his prime. He's in the middle of it. He's 26, 27. He's 25 to 27 years old. I don't know the exact number, but it's around there. And it's definitely in his prime, not like Russell Wilson, who's after it. So T.J. Watt's probably just going to get better next year. And maybe he'll be higher on this list. So number 8 is Lamar Jackson. So Lamar Jackson would have been number 4 last year. But this year, he kind of did not do as well. He made it to the divisional round, won a playoff game for the first time. He didn't do horrible, but he did worse than I thought he would have done. Last year, he was MVP, and it felt said he was number 1 of top 100 players last year, and he only made it to the divisional round. If he didn't lose the playoff game so badly, or just didn't lose them, then I would have put him at number 5 or something, number 4. But I feel Lamar Jackson has just been kind of underperforming in the playoffs. Yeah, he's won one playoff game, but it's not really a big deal. He lost by quite a bit the next time. He got injured. And I feel bad for him in that case, but, he just hasn't been doing well in the playoffs. Based on regular season, he would be higher up on this list. But during postseason, it's just too big. I feel like if you want to be the GOAT, then you have to do amazing in the postseason like Tom Brady. So, in terms of running, I could possibly see him being the best running QB, but you throw the ball faster than you run it, so, he needs to improve his throwing skills. If he wants to get higher on this list, or, just better QB overall, he needs to improve his throwing skills. He needs to be able to throw the ball faster, more accurate, In the Pro Bowl thing, there's this thing where you throw it and try hitting the targets to get points, and he missed all of his shots. He had like two hits in the very end, and that's kind of embarrassing. So that's number 8. He just needs to get his playoff performances better and better thrower, and then he'll be higher in this list. Number 7 is Christian McCaffrey. So he's for the Panthers. And the thing is, his team is not exactly very good, but the Panthers are literally saying that they kind of want to trade him away. And hopefully they do, honestly, because I can't feel bad for him because he's really, really good. But his team is just horrible. The thing is, he's performing so well in so many running yards and all that stuff. He has so many running touchdowns. He's playing amazing, and his team's really bad. So the others, the defense, they know they're gonna hand it to McCaffrey because he's like the only really good player on their team. But he still gets touchdowns and yards. And in this case, he just is doing really amazing. Hopefully, the Panthers get their game together, or he gets traded to a better team. Because if he gets traded to a better team, then 100% he's gonna do really well. So that's why he's number 7. And last year he did really well. This year, not as well because he got injured, but he'll be doing better next year. And again, he's like 24, 25. I think he's 25. And he's definitely in his prime. He can just get better from here, and he'll probably be better next season. Number 6 is Aaron Donald. He's the spoiler alert. He's the last defensive player of this year. I mean, not of this video. And he actually won Defensive Player of the Year. So that's a really big deal. Last year, in 2018 season, I believe in 2018 season, the NFL did top 100 players, and he was actually number 1. Defensive player being the best player of the year is kind of a big deal. It wasn't even the MVP. So he made it to a Super Bowl with the Rams. He's played amazing. He's definitely the best defensive player, and I mean he's definitely top 10 this year too. He's been doing amazing. He's easily the best defensive player. TJ Watt is up there too, but I think he's just better than him. And the Rams, his team is gonna get good. Matthew Stafford is gonna join the Rams, and the Rams are finally actually gonna get a really good QB. And with that, he's gonna even have a better team with him, and then you're gonna win more playoff games and stuff like that too. So Aaron Donald earns a spot in number 6. Number 5 is Tyreek Hill. So he did kind of horrible in the Super Bowl. He dropped 2 touchdown passes, I think, that hit him in the face mask. That was bad. But it's just one game. It's kind of hard to do this, but if you pretend that it wasn't a Super Bowl game, then it's fine. He had one really bad game, and he played amazing last year's Super Bowl. If it weren't for him, they would have lost the Super Bowl last year, so I kind of have to give him that. He's probably the best route runner in terms of far route running. He's the most athletic player of the NFL right now. He's definitely the fastest. He's amazing at route running and catching it from really far. But he does have Mahomes passing it to him, and Kelsey, so he doesn't really get double teamed quite a bit. But you can't not say he's really good. And he's probably coming back next year even better. The Super Bowl loss, he's probably going to be motivated to play even better. And he's still in his prime too. He's 26, I believe, and he's definitely in his prime still. He has a few more really good years, and he's probably going to earn some more Super Bowls with the Chiefs. All right, coming in number 4 is Josh Allen. So last year, Josh Allen was probably number 11 or number 10, but now he's probably number 4. He's improved so much from last year, and this is based off what I saw this year. If he keeps on getting better and keeps on playing like this, then definitely he has a shot. Because him and the Bills and the Chiefs, they're not as good as the Chiefs. There's a little bit of a gap, but it's possible for them to win in the right circumstances. And if they have a really good draft pick, then they could even close the gap on the Chiefs. So Josh Allen, this year he played amazing. For the MVP, they show 3 players who are thinking about choosing for the MVP. And Josh Allen was actually one of them. He was third in the MVP race. Number 2 is Mahomes. Number 1 is Rodgers. And he was really good. I believe that he's going to get picked for the Madden cover next year. And he's super strong arm. He makes better play calls. He doesn't throw as many interceptions as last year. And it's just overall improving so much. He made it to the AFC Championship. That's a really big deal. And, yeah, the Bills are just getting better, and the Chiefs should actually watch out. So he's really good and definitely earns his spot as number 4, and he has lots of potential, and if he just keeps on getting better, I could see him becoming the GOAT. Number 3. So number 3 is Davante Adams. So he's the best wide receiver of this year. He's 28. I mean, he's in his prime, but not in the middle of it. His prime's kind of ending, but still, he's a really good player, and it's not over yet. So for Davante Adams, he has the best, not the best, but one of the best quarterbacks of the league. He got the MVP. It's Aaron Rodgers. He's really good. The problem is that he needs more weapons around him. Because he always gets double teamed. He literally gets double teamed all the time because he's, easily the best receiver. So all the good defensive players just kind of double team him and don't really focus on the other guys. Aaron Rodgers is a really good passer. Davante Adams always gets double teamed, and still he gets so many touchdowns. He was definitely known as the best wide receiver this year. He caught so much, scored so many touchdowns, and just overall played amazing. And he's still in his prime, not the middle of it, but he's still kind of in his prime. And next year, I just expect him to do really well too. And I feel like he's probably going to win a Super Bowl or 2 at this point. Coming in number 2 is Travis Kelce. And yes, I did talk about how if they're in their prime, they got to kind of be in their prime. Travis Kelce, for this, he's 32. I mean, he's 32. He's not super young like Davante Adams, who's 28. He's not young like Josh Allen, who's 24, something like that. He's 32. He's not super young, but he's not super old either. He's the same age as Russell Wilson. And the thing is, now he has Patrick Mahomes throwing to him. He's got Tyreek Hill, so he can kind of get some of the really good receivers with him too. So he is not always getting double teamed like Zach Ertz. He's one of the only really good tight ends in the Eagles, so he would always get double teamed. But Kelce has some other good players around him, so he won't always get double teamed. He can get open. He's already been to 2 Super Bowls. He's won 1. He's got Patrick Mahomes always throwing to him, so he's got a really good, competent passer. So he can throw it to him and throw good passes to him, and then all that. He's 32. I think he's at the end of his prime or past it in terms of physical, but mentally he's still really good. Mentally, he can still make those incredible catches like this. He can still do that because he's not that old. He's at the end of his prime, but he's got amazing quarterback, and he's not always going to get double teamed because he has Tyreek Hill and some other great players getting covered too. And I feel like he's just going to win more Super Bowls with Mahomes and Hill. And yeah, that's why I put him as number 2. Alright, so coming in with the honorable mentions. So honorable mention number 1 is Michael Thomas. He's the main wide receiver for the Saints. Last year he was the best wide receiver, but this year, he kind of lost some of his skill. I'm not sure what happened, but he just didn't play as well. He's still good though. So he's really good still, not as good as he was last year. He's still somewhat in his prime. He's probably towards the end of it. He's 28, but I feel like he's just not aging as well as Davante Adams. This year he's definitely top 10 wide receivers, but not number 1 or number 3 or anything like that. So, he only made it to the divisional round. He didn't make it to the NFC Championship like Davante Adams or anyone like that. And then, I feel like he just kind of went down in skill from last year. Last year, he would have been number 7 or something on this list, but he just didn't play as well. And you can't forget about Drew Brees. He's the one always passing it. He's prime Drew Brees. I feel like him or Dan Marino were the best passers of all time. not in terms of like well-rounded, but they're probably the best passers. Brees, he retired this year with most passing yards, I believe. Well, he's definitely the best passer of this decade. And then the thing is, Michael Thomas had Drew Brees passing to him, but now he won't have that, and he probably won't be able to get another quarterback as good as Brees at passing. So I feel like, sadly, next year I feel like he's not going to become better. Well, physically, maybe yes, but in terms of just getting a better QB to pass to him, I feel like that's not going to happen. Because it's hard to get better than Drew Brees. So coming in as the number 2, one is Derrick Henry. So here's another honorable mention. And Derrick Henry is a really good running back. He plays for the Titans. He made it to the AFC Championship last year. But then this year, lost in the wild card. In terms of last year, I would put him in like 6 or something. But he just, I don't know, they lost in the wild card. He couldn't really do as well this year. And because of that, I just can't put him really on the top 10 list. I mean, he didn't really play that well. Well, he did play well, but not as well as last year. And, yeah, I think he still is in his prime. But if he played like this year, then he's not going to do as well. He needs to play like 2019 season. If he plays like that more, then I can see him be in this list. So, yeah, that's why he's honorable mention. He didn't really do as well this year. And, yeah. Next one is Stephon Diggs. So this is another honorable mention. Stephon Diggs is really good. He's an amazing receiver. And, yeah, I think he's just really amazing. He can catch really well. He can run routes well. He's really well-rounded. But he has Josh Allen, too, passing to him, which is really good. And he can't really get worse. I feel like he has Josh Allen, top 10 QBs this year, I believe. And, yeah, so he has him passing to him. And so, yeah, receivers can make amazing catches. But they always need a good QB throwing to him, and he definitely has one. And he's only been with the Bills 1 year, and I just need to see more of him with the Bills and see if he can work with his team a lot. And this is why he's only honorable mention. But if next season he improves more, or plays the same amazing games and stuff like that, then he'll definitely be on this list. So coming in number 1 is Patrick Mahomes. He's been to 2 Super Bowls already. He's won one, like Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, but he's the quarterback. He got the MVP for the one he won. And this year, only him and Kelce actually played really amazing. Hill and everyone else practically played horrible. He had no offensive line, but managed to score, like, literally, he had no offensive line, but he did at least get 9 points in the Super Bowl. Besides Kelce, he was, like, the only one doing amazing. He actually played a great game. It's just his offensive line was so bad. He made a crazy passes. Like, I mean, look at this. He was falling on the floor, and he threw it as he was falling down. Like, how do you do that? And he even got it into his receiver's hands in the end zone. But he dropped it, so honestly, when I saw that, I was so annoyed. But, yeah, because I was rooting for the Chiefs. And I feel like Patrick Mahomes is definitely the best player of this decade. I think he'll be, like, people say Peyton Manning was the best player of the 2000s decade, and then Brady of the 2010s decade. And I think Mahomes will be the best player of the 2020 decade. And, yeah, I think he's definitely the best player in the NFL right now. He's already got an MVP. If he plays consistently, he'll probably get in the Hall of Fame. This is, like, awards. Like, he has 2 Super Bowls, MVP. He's probably going to get another MVP eventually, too. And, yeah, like, he's just going to get even better. He's in his prime right now. Last year, the first year, probably wasn't his prime. But I think now he's in his prime. He's